Celia Hatton, BBC News, Beijing.
Well, many of us dream about having wads of spare cash in the bank. Maybe you'd buy a new home, invest in your children's future, or even blow it all on that trip of a lifetime. Well, one research company thinks that for the super rich, where you're from influences how you spend your money. Agility Research and Strategy spoke to 415 millionaires about their attitudes to wealth. They came from China, Hong Kong, Singapore, and the United States. And each of them had at least $1 million in investable assets. To tell us more about what they discovered is Amrita Banta, Managing Director of Agility Research and Strategy. Thank you so much for joining us, Amrita. And you did the study over 6 weeks, and cutting across Asia, China, and the United States. Tell us, in terms of age difference, are they mostly young, middle-aged, or old, these millionaires?
So that's the good news. The Asian millionaires are really young. So we see people below 40, while in the US, they're all above 40, and 50% of them are 50 to 59. And I think the best news is on China, where the millionaires are as young as 18.
18?
Yeah.
How do they make their million at the age of 18?
So they're second generation millionaires. I think what really defines...
Inheritance.
Exactly. So they've inherited a lot of money, and they're much more open to spending. They don't need to save like you and me. So they're really spending that money. And therefore, the young Asian millionaire is very youthful.
You did the study basically from May until June, over a 6-week period. But in the mid-June, that's when we saw the stock market in China plummet. So most of these millionaires could have been affected because most of their assets are in equities and in properties.
They would be affected a little bit, but not that much really, because you know their spending powers are still huge. And I think it's more of just an adjustment to what's happening to the economy. It's still growing so much. As far as we're concerned, we saw that all these millionaires were very optimistic, and they continue to be. So whether it was the US or whether it was China, I think they're also a bit more sort of used to these ups and downs. They don't get
the
so
volatility.
Yeah, they're not so sort of worried as you know, everybody else. They feel that their investments are still going to grow.
They have that extra cash. But where do they usually spend their money, Amrita?
Okay, so that's a really interesting question. So the way they spend is also very different. So if you look at the US, you know, they travel a lot more. They're into fine dining, going out. When it comes to Asia, there's a lot of money spent on luxury. So, you know, luxury goods are a big part of what they spend. So 8 out of 10, at least Chinese consumers, are looking to buy luxury goods. So watches,
so they really like
cars.
to flash that cash.
Exactly. So it's a lot to do with status, about pampering themselves. And they believe that they haven't grown up in the lap of luxury, but now they can afford it. And so they're going to spend it on that.
But if they flash their cash and they use it for items that don't have a return on their investment, then they could lose it all briefly.
I mean, probably, but you know, they're making quite a lot of it as well. And I think the difference is really wanting to go and kind of spend it. Like I said, the new generation is not so much into saving, but quite a lot into spending as well.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Amrita Banta from Agility Research and Strategy, and for sharing with us your study about these young millionaires and their spending habits.
Thanks so much, Rico.
And with that, we end this edition of the program. I'm Rico Hizon. Bye for now.